You know the drill. Every December, your entire feed is just flooded with Spotify Wrapped screenshots. You probably even posted yours, right? Well, here's the thing you might have missed. Spotify just convinced over 200 million people to be their personal advertisers, completely for free. This isn't just some fun end-of-year recap. Oh no, this is probably the smartest marketing campaign ever created, and I'm going to show you exactly how they pull it off.
Look, that social media tidal wave you see every single year, that is not an accident. Not even close. It is a meticulously engineered event, designed from the ground up to do one thing: completely dominate the conversation. We're talking a campaign that generates hundreds of millions of shares in just the first day. It's wild.
And here's the real kicker. Every time you hit that share button, you're doing something pretty incredible for Spotify. You aren't just showing off your amazing taste in music. You are actively, and let's be honest, enthusiastically, doing all of their marketing for them. You become the billboard, you're the TV commercial, you're the influencer, all rolled into one. And the most brilliant, absolutely genius part of this whole thing, it costs Spotify next to nothing in actual ad spend. Think about it. While other companies are burning millions, even billions, trying to get your attention, Spotify built a machine that gets its own users to do all the heavy lifting. Willingly. For free. The sheer scale of this it's just hard to wrap your head around. In the first 24 hours of the 2025 launch, more than 200 million people engaged with their Wrapped story. That isn't just a successful product launch, it's one of the biggest marketing events on the planet. And it happens with zero traditional ads. Okay, so let's get into the weeds here. How does this $0 advertising army actually work? This is where you see the raw financial genius of this campaign really shine. All right, let's talk numbers. The return on investment. Spotify spends, an estimated $5 million to actually produce the Wrapped experience? But get this, industry experts figure it generates over $100 million in equivalent media reach. That is a 2,000% ROI. It's just pure marketing poetry.
So, how did they get that insane return? Well, in 2025, they took things to a whole new level by mastering something called phygital marketing. It's a fancy word, but the idea is simple. It's all about bridging our digital and our physical lives. Taking the data from your phone and turning it into something real that you can actually see and touch.
And man, did they go global with it. We're talking almost 50 physical installations all over the world. Can you imagine? Seeing a giant paw on the beach in Rio to celebrate Lady Gaga? Or a whole parade of Ferraris for the artist Jims in Paris? They took a digital event and turned it into a real-world spectacle that people just had to take pictures of and share online.
And this example right here perfectly captures the strategy. Down in New York's Union Square subway station, they created this massive 800-foot cascade of red hair to honor the artist Chappelle Roan. But here's the genius part. That length wasn't random. It was 1 millimeter for every single stream her song got on release day. That's over 240,000 streams. They literally connected abstract listening data to a huge, impossible-to-ignore landmark. Brilliant. Okay, so let's dig into the core of it all. Why does this work so well? Why do we feel this almost magnetic pull to share our Wrapped results? Well, it's not magic. It's a masterclass in understanding human psychology. It really boils down to 5 key psychological triggers that make sharing Wrapped almost impossible to resist. First, identity expression. Music is so personal, right? It's part of who we are. Wrapped lets us share a piece of our identity without feeling like we're bragging. Second, social comparison. Come on, admitting you're in an artist's top 1% of listeners, that feels like unlocking an achievement. Third, there's nostalgia and progress. It's a look back at your year that feels like a little report card on your own personal growth. Fourth is good old FOMO, the fear of missing out. If everyone's talking about it and you don't post, it's like you don't even exist. And finally, the shareable format itself. Every single card is designed to look amazing on social media. Bright colors, perfect vertical layout, it's practically begging to be shared. You know, this whole thing plugs into a really fascinating idea from social psychology called optimal distinctiveness theory. Basically, it says that all of us are trying to balance 2 deep needs, the need to belong to a group and the need to feel special and unique. And Wrapped just nails this. You get to show off your unique taste, your favorite obscure band, while also belonging to a massive tribe, like being one of Taylor Swift's top listeners. It's the perfect balance. So here's the bottom line. Every single psychological trick, every design choice, it all points to this one outcome. By tapping into these really fundamental human needs, Spotify has managed to turn its entire user base into a passionate, effective, and totally voluntary marketing army. I mean, think about it for a second.
When was the last time you saw someone get excited about a banner ad or YouTube pre-roll? Never, right? We are literally trained to skip and ignore those things. But wrapped posts? We actually seek them out. We engage with them. We celebrate them. It's branded content that users want to share. That's the holy grail for any advertiser.
So this isn't just some lucky accident. It's a blueprint. It's a replicable strategy for engineering virality that, honestly, any brand out there can learn from.
So the big question is, how can you take this masterclass and actually apply it? What are the core lessons we can steal from Spotify's playbook?
Here are the 6 big takeaways. 1. Make your users the hero. The whole thing is about them, not you. 2. Build in comparison mechanics. Leaderboards, rankings, stats. We're competitive creatures. It works. 3. Create an annual ritual. Making it a once-a-year event builds incredible hype. 4. Blend the physical and the digital. Those real-world moments create endless online buzz. 5. Remove all sharing friction. It has to be one-tap simple, or people just won't do it. And finally, number 6, ride existing behavior. People are already getting reflective in December. Spotify just gave them the perfect tool for it.
And if you need any more proof that this stuff is critical, just look at Wrapped's biggest competitor, Apple Music Replay. Replay just gives you data, stats. Wrapped tells you an emotional story about who you are. Replay has a clean layout. Wrapped has dynamic vertical cards built to go viral. The focus is completely different, and it's why Wrapped is a massive cultural moment, and, well, Replay is just a feature most people forget exists.
So, after all that, what is the single most important lesson? The one big takeaway you should get from this whole marketing masterclass? It's this: Spotify absolutely cracked the code. They figured out that if you make your customers the main character, if you make the entire story about celebrating them, they will do your advertising for you, and they'll do it better, more passionately, and more effectively than any ad agency you could ever possibly hire.
And that's all for this breakdown. If you want to keep digging into the genius strategies behind the brands shaping our world, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.